talk about, and this is something I had a debate with our guy Mikey about. I told him that I'm Super Bowl or bust for the Bears next year. He said he's got to see how stuff plays out. He still feels like this is a couple years. We've had a couple people say, oh, well, the Bears are 2 years away. Da 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 da. I'm like that scene in Uncut Gems where KG told the jeweler, "Why you gonna show me something if I can't have it?" They were 15 yards away from being in field goal position to make the NFC Championship game. So, no, I am not going to lower my standards. Now, definitely this is based off what they do this offseason. If they run into the offseason, we still got the same problems on the defensive line. Not only do I think they're not going to be Super Bowl bust, I find it hard to believe they're going to win the division. Because let's just be all the way real. This division was a great division. The worst team in the division still won 9 games, and the Bears went 4-6 in the division. Not 4-6. Was it 2 whatever the record was? Was it 2-4? 2-4 in the division. So they still have stuff to they still got stuff to work on. So they definitely have to build on that defensive line. Left tackle is an issue now because INGHY is going to miss probably all of next season. And if he does, by the grace of God, does come back mid-season, it's going to take a while for him to get back in the form off an injury like that. So I'm looking at it if the right moves are made, and this to me is going to be the career-defining offseason for Ryan Poles. Incredible offseason last year. That was by far his best offseason. I'm not going to call it a 10 out of 10, but it was at least 8 out of 10. He revamped that offensive line to perfection. You got 2 Pro Bowls out of it, and you got an All-Pro out of it. Darnell Wright finally hitting his stride. Most of your offensive picks hit. Colston Loveland looks like the grab of the draft. Luther Burden was great. You know what I'm saying? And your quarterback that you drafted the year prior is ascending in the superstar mode. Well done. Well done, Ryan. But now, the task is, can you maintain the level you got? Because now the Bears are going to be the hunted. People know that you can't just look at the Bears on the schedule. The Bears are no longer the homecoming game. When you play the Bears, whether you're on the road or when you come in the Soldier Field, you're going to have a problem on your hands. And I never thought I would say this, but shout out to Jordan Love. And this is why I'm going to give a shout out to Jordan Love. I don't know if y'all saw his interviews during Super Bowl week. He interviewed with Kay Adams, and I think it was Chris Sims and Mike Furio. And he was like, man, shout out to the Bears, man. They playing well. And, they talking crazy right now doing the trees red, but that's what you get to do when you win. Now, it's our job to come back and respond. I'm like, that's the kind of stuff I want to hear in the rivalry. Not that crying that Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson, Daddy, and all them old Packers who can't even play anymore are talking. That's what I want to hear from Jordan Love. Like, yeah, y'all got it. Fair play. But we're going to be back on y'all next year. That's what we want to keep that up, that competitive stuff. So the Bears need to be prepared to maintain that level they had and surpass it because people are going to be coming for you. And, what's it going to be like in a year 2 for them? And that's what they got to work on. So if Ryan Poles has the offseason that I am expecting him to have, where you make that defensive line at least respectable, and you find an option for left tackle, and you find a way to retool the secondary, I think I am in my rightful way of thinking this is Super Bowl or bust, at least for my expectations. Bang, I'm going to go to you first. What do you think about my reasoning? Do you think this is Super Bowl bust for you, or should the fans think about it that way as well?
You know what, Scott? I'm not going to tell you how to think on this one. This is one I am not going to tell you how to think. The reason why I'm not going to tell you how to think is because I probably would think the same way, not only based off of the season that we had, but based off what we seen from the 2 teams that went to the Super Bowl and the 4 teams that was in the NFC and AFC championship games. So I'm not gonna tell you how to think. Do your thing. If your belief in the Bears is that deep, then do your thing. I will not tell you differently. I'm not that person though. Not yet. I need to see what they're going to do on the defensive line before I make that jump. I need to see what they're going to do at left tackle because Ozzy Trapillo is probably not going to be back until the middle of the season. Theo Benedict did sign a qualifying offer 1 year deal, but he's not going to go in as your starting left tackle. And I don't think Braxton Jones will be back either. At the 25th pick, the Bears had the 25th pick. Do you go defensive line or do you go offensive tackle? And they would have, I believe, they will have a pick there to get one or the other. So that's going to be a big decision. You're going to be looking at contracts. Are we going to reshuffle, restructure some? Are we going to be letting go of somebody like a Tremaine Edwards? I mean, Edmonds, excuse me. But if you let him go, then you got to have a plan on who you're going to replace him with. Demario Davis is somebody that I've seen seen people pair with the Bears, but he's like 30, like mid to late 30s. So I don't need no stop gaps on that side of the ball. I need you to build out your team, not just for this year, but for the next couple of years. So it's really depending on the draft and free agency before I make that jump. But if I'm a Bears fan, if I'm a Bears player, and I look at the teams that made it to the NFC and AFC championship game and the teams that went to the Super Bowl, I feel like I'm close. I feel like this team is close, and I wouldn't blame any fan saying, "Yo, this is Super Bowl or bust for me next year."
So here's my before I get to Dante, here's my backup question for you. So what do you so basically what's your personal expectations like for a season? Now granted, this is assuming that Ryan Poles has at least a decent off season. What are you not allowing? What are you not accepting? I mean for next season.
I'm not accepting the division championship. Now that I can tell you right now, I'm not accepting this team winning 9 games next season. We know who they play. Even though these are playoff teams, these are very much winnable games. I am not accepting the Bears not winning the division championship. I think even with the teams that we have right now, the Bears are better than the Packers. They're better than Minnesota. And the only team that you got to look at because they beat you twice is the Detroit Lions. But I don't think the Detroit Lions are going to be good enough to win the division next year either. So to me, a division championship is the floor.
Okay, fair play. Dante, what's your thoughts on next season? Expectations that you personally have, and expectations you think the fans should
Relax. Everybody just calm down. Everybody just calm down. We have schedule, bro. Like
There's no such thing as a schedule in the NFL.
yes, it is.
It's really not.
We this whole window, anything. If you have a good GM, you have a good quarterback, you have a good head coach, you got an opportunity to win. And I think we have that. So in terms of this whole window and strike now, nah, bro. Keep building the team. I think I look at teams like Philadelphia who have been competitive over the decade and have won multiple Super Bowls, have lost Super
Yeah.
Bowls, and have continued to make the playoffs. I think until the Chicago Bears get into a mode where that's the norm in Chicago, then we could talk about Super Bowl or bust. We have been ass for a decade. Let's dial it back. I understand we are excited, but no, it's no way in hell you look at that Chicago Bears team and say, well, Super Bowl or bust. Yeah, we could have did a lot this year, but teams are going to be different next year. As we know, the same way every year we look at strength of schedule, and then by the end of the season, you look at the teams the teams that have won, the teams that have lost, and it's like, damn, I guess that really didn't matter. Like it all sound good based off last year, but no, I don't. I can't go Super Bowl or bust. That's why I really love when Ben Johnson said, when somebody asked him, how do you build off this? He said, there is no building off this. You're back to square one. You didn't win. Like that's the mentality you need, because that speaks to what you said, Scott, about, there really is no window in the NFL. You gotta strike with the iron's hot. You gotta win when you can win. And so for them to say, hey, we lost, it's over, back to square one, I'm with that. That's the mentality I have. So I'm not concerned with a window or anything like that. As long as my team is on the same page with my head coach, my quarterback, we smooth. I'm with you when you say this is a big off season for Ryan Poles, but everybody else know we smooth.
Okay. Here's my follow-up question. I'm gonna ask you the same thing I asked Bane. What are you not accepting next season?
The only thing that would piss me off next season is regression by Caleb. Like if his interception number suddenly blows up, or he's fumbling the ball, that type of thing would really be unacceptable. Another thing that would be disappointing, I don't know about unacceptable, is if they just continue to load up on offense and say, we're gonna try to piecemeal it with the defense to see what we could do. We got prospects at this size and this, that, and the third, and not really spend no money. Go bargain shopping like we always do, and the guys end up getting hurt or just being mediocre. But those are the things that would really piss me off for next year. But other than that, like I said, I think they had a schedule. So if you won one less game next year, but like you said, the offense took steps, X, Y, and Z. It's certain things that I wouldn't be upset with, but Super Bowl ain't really on my radar right now.
I hear what you're saying. I disagree because I just don't think there's a such thing as windows in the NFL. Like, it's just shit changes too much. And this is also
Wait, but
barring
hold on, time out. Counterpoint: if you feel like shit changes too much, then why are we concerned about striking right now? If you have a young quarterback on a team-friendly deal, you have a head coach locked in, you have everybody in place. If things change on a daily basis, if you have that core in place, why are you, in a rush?
No, if you have, we have the two hardest things there are to get. That's a good head coach and a good quarterback. So yes, that will put you in position for playoff contention. But things is, like you said, things get different each year. Competition gets harder. Injuries. I think that we had a lot of injuries this year on the offensive side of the ball. I think we were pretty straight majority of the year. Obviously, Colson had a couple nagging injuries. Missed a couple games. The biggest injury obviously was Rome, but for the most part, the offense is pretty healthy. So you never know what might happen injury-wise. And I do believe, I keep saying this, the Chiefs are going to retool. I truly believe that. I don't know how long Andy Reid's going to be coaching, but as long as they got 15, I believe they're going to eventually find a way to retool. And if they're smart, they will take this season off and build the correct team around Pat. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to be thirsty to play Pat. You're hearing some rumors that Pat might be ready for week 1, which whatever, but that's what the talk is.
Don't believe it.
I don't believe it either. But their offseason moves will tell me if they think that's realistic or not. My point being is, in the NFL, I just like to strike when the iron's hot. That doesn't mean I don't have faith in Caleb. That doesn't mean I don't have faith in Ben Johnson. For the first time in not only my life as a Bears fan, but in the Bears time period, they have something sustainable with the head coach and with the quarterback. But I just don't feel like, if Ryan Poles, the only thing that'll piss me off this offseason, if Ryan Poles goes into this offseason with the NBA or MLB team building mindset with, I got 5 years to play with. No, you don't. No, you don't. I want to at least see some ambition on the defensive side of the ball. Now, that don't mean you got to go out and go sign him, trade for Max Crosby, go out and trade for Myles Garrett, even though I would love either one of those. But it's got to be something that makes sense. I want to go into this game knowing this defensive line is good enough to get consistent stops on the quarterback. Because all that cardiac bear stuff was cute. Like Ryan Poles said himself. He said it himself in the year-end press conference. But we don't want to be that next year. So that's what I am looking forward to see. Are you going to be able to do that? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm looking for. That will piss me off if he's going to try to grow the defense through the draft. We don't have enough high draft picks for that. So that's what would irritate me. So I got my eye on Ryan Poles this offseason to see what he's going to do. Before we get to the Bears in Arlington, which I want to spend a decent amount of time before we bring Pappy on, just quickly, do you have any bold Bears offseason predictions?
I think they make a splash in the D line. Whether it be Crosby or Garrett, I think they do make a splash in the D line.
I think that's the big one for me. I don't think they will.
I will say this: all reports are saying that they won't do it. Brad Biggs has said they won't do it. Dan Wiederer said they won't do it. Now, I don't know if this is, to me, from what I heard both of them said, it sounded more opinion-based, more than stuff they're hearing. And one thing we know about Ryan Poles in the time he's been general manager, none of his moves are ever reported. They come out of nowhere. Joe Tooney was not reported. You know what I'm saying? There was multiple moves that weren't reported. So I just feel, with like you said, Dante, I think he's going to take a leap. I don't know if that's going to be a Myles Garrett. I don't know if there's going to be a Max Crosby. But I will say this: if there is some chatter about Detroit trying to get a Max Crosby, you gotta step in line. Okay, like
I
I'm not trying to deal with Hutch and Crosby twice a year, and that's not even including Micah when he gets healthy.
yeah, I mean, yeah. Um, but I think it is more likely than not that the Bears go out and get some OG on that other side of the ball. I think they love Austin Booker. I think they bring in somebody to help mentor Austin Booker and be a third down specialist. But I don't foresee them spending draft capital and a potential player to go get Max Crosby. And as much as I would love to, and I told you I don't want Max Crosby. I think it's Miles Garrett a bust. You can have whatever you want for Miles Garrett. So that's what I would like to see. That's the splash that I would like to see. But I think it's more likely than not that you get an OG that help mentors Austin Booker.
Yeah, and and Austin Booker was one of the guys who really impressed me. Like he better not pull an AK or John Paxson. And he'll say something like, "Well, we got Dio coming and Shamar Turner coming. That's gonna be like a mid-season trade edition."
Yeah.
And I do think Shamar Turner showed some promise before he got hurt. Dio was terrible before he got that Achilles injury. I'm sorry, it looked like a waste of money. And Austin Booker looks like he can be a guy, like you said, Bang, if he does get a mentor. You know what? Actually, and let me just answer this question real quick. Even though it ain't got nothing to do with the Bears. Do I think Burrow said to Cincinnati this year, but I will say this: the clock is ticking. If they don't make the playoffs this year, God bless Cincinnati.
They gonna
he got
make
his
look.
ups.
You see that?
He's
You
out
see
there
that?
sounding real emo.
You see that AFC North.
Yeah.
Look, man, the Cincinnati Bengals are gonna be a-okay. They're gonna be
Oh no,
a-okay.
I'm saying he got to stay healthy too. That's part of it as well. He got to
And
stay
right,
healthy
yeah,
too.
he got to stay healthy. But I
It
think
all
they're gonna be
depends on who's
a-okay.
going to be the GM in Minnesota. I can see them making a push for Burrow. Kevin McConnell is.
Okay, let's not even put that in the atmosphere, bro.
You got to be realistic, bro.
Let's keep that out here.
And another team, the Rams. Matt Stafford's coming back next year, but like you said,
yeah,
we don't know how much longer Matt Stafford's going to be there. And Sean McVay can play with anybody, so it's some teams to look at that. Like Joe Burrow will be a plug and play kind of guy, so he got options.
I can see Rams. Thank you, Orlando. This is what I was about to say. This is an ethical move that'll make sense to me. If he did something like sign Trey Hendrickson, which I don't think is going to be an egregious price tag, and then trade for Chris Jones, if you could call Kansas City like, hey, what you want, that's something that makes sense that I like. There's moves on the table that ain't got to be a Max Crosby or a Myles Garrett. And I see a lot of people in the media this week talking, well, I probably wouldn't have traded for Khalil Mack. Look, I don't care how that window ended. I would have still traded for 2018 Khalil Mack every day of the week. Khalil Mack gave me some of my most fun times as a Bears fan. And for those first 2 years, he was must-see TV. I take Khalil Mack
for a Hall of Famer.
I take Khalil Mack now on a decent deal to just add.
OG to mentor Austin Booker.
Yes.
And
bring Khalil home. I said this last offseason, and I'm going to say it again. I'm not expecting him to be 18, 19 sack Khalil Mack like he was in 2018. But he can give me some respectable like 6, and you add that on with like a Trey Hendrickson or something, that'd be good. So my bold prediction is I think the Bears make a big move at defense in the DL, whether it's the top tier or maybe even something that's ethical like a Trey Hendrickson, Khalil Mack, Trey Henderson, trade for Chris Jones. I just feel I'm going to give Ryan Poles the benefit of the doubt. We all know that I am not a big fan of his. I even think even though I'm not a big fan of his. But I just think he's got a big move under his